I just want to remember that this is what happens when ordinary fucking women try to speak in public right now in 2023, 2024, and for the last few years. This is what happens when we try and speak. When we try and say things like, no woman has a penis. Can our daughters just be allowed to go on a sports field without some fucking great big boy playing against her that could cause her lifelong injuries? This is what happens to us ordinary women. We're not good enough for halls and conferences and microphones, generally speaking. You won't know half the names of the women that come and speak at Let Women Speak. You won't know who they are. That might be the one only time that you ever see them. You might be extraordinarily moved by what they say, but you won't know them. They're not after glory, but they want to be able to say the words that they can't say in their own lives. Some of them are frightened about what happens to their autistic children with this cult. They're frightened about sending them even to fucking school. In Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, this country, people are frightened of sending their children to school. They feel powerless against fucking teachers. They're frightened about the school counsellor. They're frightened about CAMS. Genuinely frightened. And do you know what they do with that fear? They pull it all in and they stand up straight and they come to a Let Women Speak event and they speak and they say the words they are longing to say. Desperate to say. Desperate to just speak it aloud. Probably doesn't even matter that it's a platform. Doesn't matter that there's an audience. Those things don't matter. They are just absolutely, you see these women come tense and then you watch them speak and you just watch it just transform them into women who finally feel they've got a voice. That's what we risk. So pardon me if I'm not so celebratory about a bunch of doctors and medics in a hall in London using, I'm so angry, I can't tell you how cross I am. It's so fucking insulting that we have been pushing the Overton window, and by we, I mean us. I mean me, I mean you, I mean the women that come to Let Women Speak, I mean the women that post on Twitter, anonymously or not, I couldn't give a shit. I mean those women who constantly say the words, no woman has a penis. There is no such thing as non-binary. No man has a vagina. Transitioning children is profound abuse. And I think children are 16, FYI, NHS. So these women, we've been pushing the Overton window. Some of us have lost our jobs. Some of us have had far too much attention to the police. We've literally put our lives on the line. We put our careers on the line. We've risked relationships with all of our families. Just so we can say the words that really need to be said. There is no time ever it's okay to give a fucking child puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones. It's not okay. There's no medical necessity. And then we've got reasonable, rational, professional, wonderful. Oh, we're so professional and polite and respectful and courteous. This is a slide at one of our events. This is today. These are the people opposing it. Assessment of an adolescent desiring medical gender recognition, I guess that means, needs to be comprehensive and follow the commonly accepted lines of an assessment. Should have spell checked. I mean, is that the least you could bloody well do? In child and adolescent psychiatry at large, psychiatric needs of, I'm too angry to speak. Psychiatric needs of adolescents with feelings of gender dysphoria have to be recognised and treated appropriately. I mean, even just saying those words, not really getting, I'm not a doctor. I'm apparently not particularly clever. I don't know if I could get a medical degree. I don't know if I'd actually want one, but I don't know if I could get a medical degree. But using words like gender dysphoria, creating a whole industry around it, I'm sorry, I don't trust any one of you. You're just grooming at this point. Hormonal interventions that modify secondary sex characteristics should, among minors, be used with caution. Who is still saying this? Who is still saying this? Should be used with caution? How about should never be fucking used? Preferably restricted into a context of formal research program. Oh, Human experiments. That's nice. Until evidence that meets the contemporary requirements of evidence-based medicine has been gained. Yeah, here's the evidence. Don't fucking transition children. There's some evidence for you. Gender recognition or gender, I can't think what that might be. Grooming, respectfully, interventions have to be subjected to the same requirements of evidence as new interventions in medicine. Can you believe it? I mean, really? Can you actually believe it? I can't believe anyone's still talking like this. What more do you need? Do you need to see more girls with their breasts sliced off? Like vulnerable girls with autism diagnosis or not? Shall I tell you what gender dysphoria is? You know, my medical knowledge. And in fact, I think I seem to be more qualified than any of the fucking medics. Here is what gender dysphoria is. It's a child who's figured out a way to manipulate their parents if they're really young. That's all it is. Or it's a child that's had some sort of trauma. Now, when it comes to that, this is what I think. Oh, hello, doctor. My child thinks she's a boy, and she wants us to call her Kai. And she wants to wear a binder, and the school have already transitioned her. What I want a doctor to do is, let's find out why your daughter is so confused, shall we? Let's do that. Let's give her some. Let's find the root of this. Did she have a little switch of thinking when you said that she wasn't allowed to go and play football with the boys? And then she said, well, I am a boy then. And you're moronic parent, so you took that seriously and you've gone along with it. Has she been transitioned at school? Is there something else going on? Are there other people in her friendship group that started wearing binders? Has she had some bad experience where she's decided to watch pornography and then realizes she doesn't want to be a woman? Is there somebody grooming her outside or inside the family? Has she been subjected to some sort of trauma abuse? Is she different to everyone else? Does her difference make her feel that she needs to escape so she can actually perform a difference rather than just be accused of it? Not, your daughter has gender dysphoria. So what we're going to do, we've got a whole few organisations. Bad organisation. Oh, great organisation. Wonderful organisation. All of them will completely go along with the idea that your child has something real called gender dysphoria. The whole organisation, First Do No Harm, which is it's a conference today. But I put up a talk Standing for Women, put up a talk in the House of Lords way back in 2019. Do you know what nobody did? Nobody said there's such a thing as gender dysphoria. I cannot believe we're still in it. This is grooming. This is what professionals do to groom you. These people are supposed to know what they're talking about. How can they possibly be saying we challenge something by using the language? It's absolutely mad. Somebody saying you think I'm wrong when we demonstrate there's no medical evidence. Here you are. I'll tell you how you can demonstrate it. Hello, can we see all the evidence that said this is good? Here it is, a blank piece of paper. Here's the evidence. There's no evidence. It's really scary when you think that most of us ordinary people, the women that congregate and Let Women Speak, we know better about this than anybody. Anybody. It just beggars belief. I feel like I'm the world expert in gender dysphoria. What is it? It's nothing. Oh, come and buy a ticket to the conference. Come and join the great and the good. All the non-confrontational, polite, respectful, rational, courteous people that will sit and give you a round of applause if you say, I think it might be quite harmful to give children puberty blockers. Oh, wow, fuck me, well done. Really? You think so? What, blocking puberty might be harmful? Can I just say, I also think it's harmful to cut the legs off of newborn infants. Oh my God, well done. Wow, that's so, oh my God, I can't believe someone's finally said it. You're just incredible. Agoraphobia agoraphobia is and can I just say, if you were in the conference, if you attended the conference, if you're part of the great and the good, the rational, the reasonable, the wonderful, um, I don't think we're on the same team. I don't think we're fighting the same fight. I think if you set up a conference on the basis that you are going to deal with gender, gender identity, and gender dysphoria, you're just not on the same fight as me. Perhaps I just deal more in real world stuff. Perhaps I'm just a little bit more abrasive. Perhaps I don't mind being disliked. Perhaps I'm not courting the great and the good. Perhaps I don't give a shit about their approval. I don't want it. I'd rather not have it because it means I'm doing something wrong. There's a reason I don't go to these events, and that's because I really cannot. I could not sit there with a bunch of simpering morons listening to people talk about maybe we should be cautious about giving kids cross-sex hormones. I'm so cross. And can I just say to all the people who think that I'm not allowed to be angry or it's not the way, don't fucking tune in, don't listen, I don't care. I've said right from the off, I don't need to be liked. I don't want your approval. I don't care if you think I'm right or wrong. I don't care about any of those things. What I care about is that I see something, I want to say it, I'm going to fucking say it, I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm not going to stop saying it. And I'm never going to be okay about those of you that compromise. Like, sod you. Compromise who? Which child? 18-year-old? Should we compromise 18-year-olds? Are they old enough? Are they old enough to cut their breasts off? Are they old enough to medics go, well, 18 is the... Are they okay for a theoretical paper on how we can just rob them of their futures? So angry. I'm so angry, especially watching that clip at the beginning. I'm just like, fucking hell. I forgot how afraid I was going in. I arrived in, let me just tell you about what I did. Prior to going to New Zealand, I had my security. I completely forgot about this, but the security council cancelled on the basis of things that were said about Nazis in Australia. So security cancelled. So then we had to get other security. And I'm so glad we did. They were wonderful. But they cancelled. And then when I arrived in New Zealand, so in the last couple of places in Australia, I had police escorts would meet me from the plane and walk me through nobody told me it was going to happen. It just happened. And they would meet me from the plane and they would walk me through the airport. And in a couple of airports, I had to start buying more expensive flights because in a couple of the airports where I didn't have access to a lounge, I was getting people having a go at me and staring at me when I was on my own. And it wasn't very nice. And then when I got to New Zealand, this woman came up to me and I was getting my luggage. And she said, "Oh, follow me. Have you got your luggage?" I was like, "Yeah, I've just got it." And she goes, "Oh, follow me." She's very nice. Led me through. And I thought, oh, perhaps they're just rushing me through the airport. And then she went through my bag without once searching me. So it wasn't like a random proper check. But they fucked with me when I arrived in the country for 2 hours. And on the plane on the way over, because I had Wi-Fi on the plane, I got a message saying that my hotel had been cancelled and the New Zealand police had been to my hotel where I was going to stay, and they told them who I was, and for some reason the hotel cancelled. So I had to find another hotel, and then I had to go incognito, so I couldn't really tell anyone where I was going to stay because I didn't want the police telling someone, so then I had nowhere to stay in New Zealand. And then I went to my hotel, and by that point, I was eating in my room and stuff. I wasn't going out of the hotel or anything. Wherever I was staying, I was just mostly staying in my room. And I phoned the security in the morning because I got a letter through under the hotel room door when I was asleep saying that they knew I was in there and some other sort of abusive stuff, and they knew what I was wearing and they'd seen me and they knew exactly where I was. And then on the way to the event, I just felt like it was just unsafe. I just knew it was unsafe. And so I I went through that crowd thinking the police were inside, thinking the police were genuinely kind of protecting women on the inside at the rotunda. When I got in there, they weren't. And so I walked in and got kicked a few times and pushed on the way through the crowd. And I get in, and then that bloke pours tomato soup or whatever on me. And a woman called Tanya. And then everything happens, and then I'm in there, and women are asking, like, women are even going through the crowd to go and get the police, and the police aren't coming in. And we did that. We all did that so that women could say the things in that mob they were going to still speak until that mob broke through. They were going to say the things that are happening to them. Whether it's that one of their kids has been sucked into the cult, whether they've lost their job, whether they can't speak. That's what we do. And then you have a medical conference of polite people. Do you think any one of them has said it? The whole thing. The whole conference is set up on this premise. And it's the same as GenSpect. It's all set up on the premise that there really is a thing called gender dysphoria. And it's all about, let's not harm kids, but adults are fine. Almost like in GenSpect, it's almost like, there is a variation about how much somebody can abuse you without your consent with AGPs. The mind boggles. Do you know what a child is with gender dysphoria? It's a child responding to something. You just got to find out what that something is. But you don't make a whole fucking organisation out of it. You don't make it your life's work. You don't make it a thing. How do you stop it being a thing? You just stop it being a thing. How do you stop it being a thing? You just say, yeah, let's find out what that's all about. Let's find out where that comes from. Not, let's legitimise it. Let's give the kids cross-sex hormones as soon as they're 16. Let's give the kids a little countdown to when they can change sex. 16 now, kids in the UK. Oh, aren't we so great? We're not doing puberty blockers anymore. Oh, we're so great. Oh, my God. Aren't we wonderful? Look what we've all done. Oh, they're going to give cross-sex hormones real fast, are they? Brilliant. So my son will have a penis the normal size of a 16-year-old, but he can grow breasts by the time he's 16 and a half. Oh, my God. What a victory. What a victory. And then at 18, pop along and get your breast cut off, love. No, it's all right. You can even get your balls cut off. You can get your penis and testicles cut off, folded into, I don't know, a swan, if you like, because you're 18. Anyway. I just wanted to reflect on where we are, us women at the front line, on the front line, dealing with stuff, holding the line, where we are and where those who consider themselves experts and polite and so wonderful. And let's not forget that there will be many people at that conference who, frankly, I don't have too much patience for or sympathy, who will have been silent knowing that this shit is harmful for years. Why were they silent? To save themselves. To save themselves. Could you? Could you save yourself whilst knowing that kids are being made infertile? Could you? I couldn't. I just couldn't. Could you save yourself knowing that kids were being told in a part of an organisation that you work for that being born in the wrong body is a legitimate thing to believe? Could you? It's very hard for people at the Tavistock. It's very difficult. Because if they don't give out puberty blockers, they might lose their jobs. They don't make that kid infertile. They might lose their jobs. Oh, and my GP practice, if I don't go along with the mutilation of children through medicines, I might lose my job. And I don't care. If I don't let Jimmy Savile into that child's hospital ward, I might lose my job. All the same. If you're not absolutely vociferously opposing this cult, you are part of the cult. If you're offering children, oh, let's do it with caution. What can be done now? Well, let's be cautious about giving them harmful drugs that totally annihilate them and ravish and just go through their bodies and destroy their bodies. Let's be cautious. Oh my God, you're so fucking brave. Anyway, just want to reiterate the reason Let Women Speak, the reason I and Let Women Speak, by extension Let Women Speak, the reason we're on the outside, the reason we're not on the in group is because we just wouldn't be welcome. Who wants to hear the truth when we're all patting ourselves on the backs for telling little lies? Nobody. I am very thankful to be excluded. I'm very thankful that we don't compromise. I'm very thankful that I don't link arms with anybody else and I'm not bound by their words or their actions. Let Women Speak is my baby. I'm really proud of it. Really proud that we are uncompromising and we will not be compromised by the inadequacy and cowardice of others. So I'm telling you, a lot of people say that you can't win if you don't compromise. I am going to win this. I am, even if I have to do it on my own. I am going to win this. I'm going to win it by speaking the truth again and again and again without fear or hesitation. I don't give a shit if everybody else compromises and waves a little red white flag of surrender and capitulates and says, well, maybe sometimes. Nope, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to be right. And everyone's going to realize it. And I'm going to win. And if you come along for the ride and you support and continue to speak up in your own voices, then I promise we will win. If you don't get persuaded by the professional classes who want to make you feel like speaking the truth is somehow brash, a little bit impolite, working class, not very nice, no one's going to listen, do not let them persuade you. And I promise we will win. Do you know why else we're going to win? Because even in a mob of thousands, I never lose.